we're dealing with paragraph 22. In the paragraphs that come afterwards, you deal with the actual audit. Can you confirm that you assembled a team of 9 officers to undertake this audit process?
Yes, I can confirm, Commissioners. Commissioners, from that 9, as I go further with my testimony, I will explain why I took 1 from the 9 members.
Okay, and that this inspection process took place between the 19th and the 30th of May?
Yes, Commissioners, it started from that date.
And Commissioners, the actual audit report or inspection report is Annexure IM5 to Mr. Mdluli's affidavit at page 26 of his annexures. Just to note that. General, you were then provided with the audit report on the 6th of June. What did you do with this audit report?
Commissioners, when I received the inspection schedule or matrix, I went through it as the norm. When you receive the report from the members, you have to go through the inspection itself. And then I compiled sort of a summary, executive summary, the shortcomings, the findings. And then from there, I called Colonel Mdluli, the one who was presenting me with this inspection matrix or report. Not report as such, it's me who's going to do now a report. Then I compiled the necessary report for the attention of General Sibiya. Why General Sibiya? During that period when I came back from leave, I just want to bring to the attention of the commissioners that my direct commander actually General Sintumule, but she was not present during that period. So I was engaging mostly with General Sibiya. So maybe commissioners will see through why I'm saying General Sibiya, not General Sintumule. General Sintumule came back on the 7th of June. So after compiling, then I make that report.
Sorry, General, what was the purpose of the report?
Okay. Commissioners, when members do inspections, you as their commander, you have to do that summarized report to your immediate, like General Sintumule is a divisional commissioner. So that I'm taking General Sibiya through the whole inspection report because myself and General Sibiya, especially General Sibiya, was not involved in the inspection. So the main purpose is for him also to get the jigs of the entire inspection of what transpired through the report. But I also gave him the very same matrix or schedule which Colonel Mdluli compiled. I also gave it to him. So it was this matrix and also together with my report, the one which I've made sort of a summary of the findings and shortcomings and recommendations from the bigger report, the inspection report.
Thank you, General. If you have regard to paragraph 24 of your statement, you describe a different purpose for the report. Can you have a look at the second sentence?
Okay, Commissioners, can I read this? Thereafter, on or about 6 June 2025, I compiled a draft and signed report in the form of an executive summary of the inspection exercise undertaken. The purpose of the draft report was to motivate for the budget allocation for these dockets to be investigated and to get direction from General Sibiya and General Sintumule as the report is next year to marked as MCM1. Yes, in this draft report, I went to General Sibiya, and then by that time, General Sintumule was back. So I was just discussing this inspection with them what is the findings. Because they said that I must ensure that we proceed with investigation. Then that's when now I told them, I don't have a budget in my component because of the PKTT they are budgeted for. So now I must proceed with these 118 dockets. I need some money to go to KZN to conduct the investigations.
And General, the need for money, if the PKTT was to be the members were going to be reintegrated into the murder and robbery unit, which is your component at a provincial level, why was there need for additional money?
The money which is allocated to PKTT, the needs was looked into before when the money was allocated to them. So why now I'm needing this money? Because of, I was thinking the management won't go to the money which is allocated budget for PKTT so that they can reallocate or divert the money from the PKTT to 118. So I thought when I request this money, then I will be given some portion, either from the very same money which is given, because of 118 dockets is also budgeted within the PKTT. So by so doing, I thought maybe, for example, they've got 10 million. Maybe I will get a portion, maybe 2 or 3 million, so that I can conduct the 118 because it's already budgeted. Actually, there I can say I was just trying, I can put maybe my luck so that maybe I can get something. And that's when now General Sintumula said, okay, General, just put it in writing. The request for funding. In the meantime, I will speak with the Chief Financial Officer, which is General Timpani.
Thank you, General. And would you have been able to proceed with investigations if funding wasn't available?
If funding was not?
If it wasn't made available?
No, I wouldn't proceed with investigations because of commissioners. When you go to KZN, we plan to go there on a fortnight. I even make a breakdown of the hotels, the daily allowances, and so forth, like the PKTT. Then we said we won't go and stay there for 6 months. Maybe we go for a fortnight, we come back, just like that, and go back up until maybe this 118, we reduce them to the acceptable level. We even said that maybe 6 months. Actually, we wanted to start from 1st of June until December. Then January, we do our assessment to see from this 118, because already through the inspection, we saw which one we can start with. So 118, maybe we were within that 6 months, maybe 60, 70 dockets. Maybe we were supposed to finalize. Sorry. It depends with the dynamics of KZN when we arrive there. But that one, it was another story. That's how we plan we are going to do. At least 6 months, there must be an impact on this 118 dockets.
I know it was not your decision, General, but it just does not make sense to me to bring in a fresh or a new team when there was a team in place already. Once it had been decided by General Sibiya that investigations should go on, I just do not understand why those investigations should not have been conducted by the PKTT. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, commissioners, because now I was finding myself in that dilemma. I also have to swim. I must come up and devise as a manager. How am I going to swim with this 118? That is why I was taking all these actions or maybe some suggestions. How about we do this so that we can also ensure that these 118 dockets can be investigated? Because, Commissioner, these dockets, they've been there also, not being given attention. And then I know, Commissioner, if dockets are sitting a long time with investigating officers, what feedback are you giving to the deceased family, especially where here we have lost life, irrespective whether it's a housebreaking or a theft of motor vehicle? The people need answers, and they need their satisfying answers. So that is why I was eager. Just give me money, I'll go and work this docket, Commissioner.
And also, I mean, with the new investigators coming in cold, there would be delays. Do you accept that?
Yes, I accept, Commissioner. I accept that one.
Thank you, General.
General, your report, the draft report that you compiled, is page 1 of the annexures. Commissioners, that's MCM 1, which starts at page 1, the annexure set of documents. General, if you can have regard to paragraph 1.1 of that statement, of that draft report. So it's immediately after your statement.
Okay, yes, I see it.
You say there that on 31 December 2024, the Minister's Office issued an instruction through the Office of the Deputy National Commissioner, General Sibiya, who was acting as the National Commissioner at the time. Is that a correct reflection of what happened?
Commissioners, in this one, I think it's a typo to say General Sibiya, because from our from our office we thought it was General Sibiya who was acting, but he later, during our engagement, he also brought this to my attention, because he also signed. He said that I saw you wrote me I was acting. Actually, it was not me who was acting, it was General Musikidi. So already these letters, they were signed, but I would like to apologize just for that one, because I wrote General Sibiya. Actually, it was General Musikidi who was acting.
And General, this report, this draft report, did you give it to Generals Sibiya and Sentumule?
No, this report, as I was explaining, Commissioners, General Sentumule, during the engagement of the Dockets, she was not present. I just gave this report after we finished, and then General Sentumule came. I think it was on the 7th, mostly of these inspections. But the main one, the one when we were discussing with General Sibiya and General Sentumule, I gave them the bigger one, where I went and just explained to them what transpired through the inspections. And when we were engaging about the extra money, it was on the 7th of June, when General Sentumule advised that I must write a information note pertaining to a request for extra budget or funding to go and conduct those docket in case of the investigations.
Commissioners, that information note is MCM 2, which is at page 13 of the annexures. General, you talk about the meeting and that General Sentumule asked that you prepare the information note, but at paragraph 27, you go on to talk about a second information note that was prepared regarding the missing statements. Can you tell the commissioners about this?
Commissioners, during the inspection of this docket and through my perusal, I was approached by Captain van der Berg, who was also part of the inspecting team. But during that inspection, we took 2 dockets from Eastern Cape, the one of Namchamta who passed on. Then because of the sister of the deceased was calling General Sibiya just to get feedback of the cases. There were 2 cases, attempted murder and the murder one. So the docket was initially investigated in my office when it was taken by PKKT during October 2023. So in those dockets, Captain van der Berg brought it to my attention that there were 32 statements which were missing from the docket. Then immediately it raised some concern. I even asked Canon Gould, because he was leading the inspecting team, the inspection. Then I asked him, they didn't experience similar incident like this one where statement are missing, then Kenan Mguli informed me, General, actually, we also realized that Umlazi and Greytown, there were also statement missing, 10, 12. He even said that it is mentioned in that inspection matrix. And then from there, I penned down this information note. I brought it to the attention of General CB that in this docket of these three dockets, the Greytown, Umlazi, and Mthatha, there were statements which were missing. How we saw it, commissioners, is under the C-clip, which is a dial SAP S5. The statement were annexed. For example, it will say General Motsepe statement A4, Commissioner Madlanga statement A5, Commissioner Kumalo statement A6, and so forth. But when you check the A-clip, there's no statement as such because of you can't annex the C-clip without the statement. The statement speaks to the C. A part speaks to the C. What you do on the A part of the docket is reflected under the C-clip. It's your diary. So immediately I brought it to the attention of General Sivia. Then General Sivia wanted to call General Kumar. Then I said, no, you can still call, but let's put it in writing so that maybe he can respond to why this statement are missing from the docket, whereas they've been annexed under the C-clip. That's when I wrote this information note to General Sivia.
Are there instances when investigators would remove statements from dockets, General?
Commissioner, pardon?
Are there instances when investigators would remove statements from dockets?
No, commissioners, we don't have those instances. Usually when you take a statement, maybe you for example, you go out, take statement. When you come back to the office, you do most now administration. We have to put it there and annex. So you can't annex C-clip, my statement, whereas the statement is not there. So it shows the docket, the statement were there, clipped, I'm just assuming, and then they were taken out. Or maybe they were annexed before they were put under the clip. I don't know what was the rationale behind that. But you can't just reflect it under the C-clip, whereas it's not on the A part, because they go hand in hand. Sometimes you put them under A, you don't annex. So when you go through the dockets, you will see that A4 is not reflected, then we have to reflect it under the C-clip. So in this one, I don't know what happened, but they were not there.
Just explain the C-clip to me, please.
Or the C-clip, commissioners, the docket is divided into, I can say, 5 parts. With the front page, then it will be, we call it the A clip. Second page, the third one is the B clip, where we put all the correspondence. Then becomes the C, where we put all the diary. And then the last part, it will be where suspects are arrested, then we are charging. That's why we charge. All the suspects will reflect, but provision is made only for 2 suspects, but we've got an additional paper, or not a paper as such. It also forms part of the docket where you attach it. Is sort of an annexure that it will say maybe suspect 1, 2, 3, then the other one will 4. If there are 15 or 20, you can put as much, as long as they will reflect in the docket and they look the same like the first one where we have charged.
So the clips are basically part of the docket folder?
Yes, when I say the C clips, actually we call it the SAPS C5 diary. It's a C part. So where you write every activity, like when you write...
All of that is part of the folder. That
yes. Yes.
It used to be
yes.
brownish.
When you open the docket,
it used to be brownish in the olden days. I don't know.
Brown. It's still
yes,
brown.
Yes. So those are there.
Yes.
Then the statements are loose pieces of paper that get put in, or
no,
that are placed in this folder, in the docket folder.
Yes, the docket like this file in front of us. Then it go upwards. We call it A1, is the complainant statement.
Yes.
It's 1. Then go up.
It's a loose piece of paper.
Yeah, it's a statement.
Yes.
You put A, this one is A1. Then on the C part of the docket,
You make a note of
we
it.
make a note. The statement of General Motsepe is C.
Okay.
Is A1. Just
right.
like the ballistic report obtained from forensic lab A2.
All right.
Just like that, because it's part of the evidence of the statement. So they go hand in hand.
Okay.
So
So you were able to tell from the folder, this brown folder, that notes had been made, that there's this statement, there's that statement, there's that statement, but the actual statements themselves were not in that folder.
they are not there in the A part.
All right. All right. I hope the evidence leaders will not fight with me about this. From a statement that we have read, a point is made that investigators had taken some of the statements out of the dockets. That's how I understand the statement. So you are basically saying that that's not supposed to happen.
It's not supposed, commissioners.
So if you want a statement for purposes of your investigation, you would have to take the entire docket. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, what I'm trying to say, commissioners, is you can write under the C, the diary, and mention a next statement of General Motsepe.
Yes.
But the very same statement of General Motsepe, which is A4, whatever number, is not here in the docket.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, let us suppose that the statement of General Motsepe was actually taken.
Yes.
And because it was taken, it is noted as A4 or whatever. So it's not. But when you get to the docket, the physical statement itself is not there.
It's not there,
So my question is, but it was taken. My question is there anything wrong with investigators removing A4 for purposes of their investigation, taking it out of the brown folder? Is there anything wrong with that?
Commissioner, that one really, because I don't know what happened during the investigation. Maybe they've got reasons. They put A4 there, but they took the A statement for some other reasons of their investigation. But when you are an inspecting officer, you expect the docket. That's where the audit comes and inspection. When I take the docket like this, I expect to see the A4 attached under the docket. If maybe they took it for purposes of maybe for inspections or for bails or whatever during the nature or during the nature of the investigation, maybe something which maybe they will explain. Maybe they took it for something.
So in your experience, if as part of my investigation, I want to go around, but I want to have this statement readily available for purposes of my investigation, what would I have to do? Would I have to take the entire folder with all the statements in it, even if all that I want is General Motsepe's A4? Would I have to take the entire docket?
Commissioner, if you take the statement for the purpose of investigation, you can make a copy and certify it. You can make a copy, leave the docket actually must be intact because this brown follows an evidence which in future we intend to produce it before court. But if you take, just imagine 32 statements are not in the docket for purposes of investigation. What type of investigation? Why don't in the diary you mention somewhere, or maybe in the pocket books? Maybe in their pocket books they mention, because pocket books and the diary actually they go hand in hand. If maybe in their pocket books they have mentioned that I took this docket for purposes of another docket investigation, but usually we make copies. If maybe this one is an original of the statement of that particular case, you must make a copy and use it as for purpose of investigation. But in that scenario, I don't know why those statements were taken from the docket.
Thank you, General.
General, I think in your either in your statement or in one of the other statements that we have, we are told that some of these dockets were inherited. I think the dockets go as back as 2006. I think that's the earliest. Now, where you found your audit finds that statements are missing, were inquiries made that resolved the question, where do they miss these statements? At which point were they there, and when do they go missing? And I ask the question because from your evidence, and I don't know if that is the intention of what you're conveying, from your evidence, it seems you're saying the PKTT members removed statements from the dockets. Now, given that some of those dockets, if we accept that evidence, are inherited dockets that were given to the PKTT as things moved along, do you know whether those statements that were identified as missing, where in fact did they go missing? Do they go missing in the hands of the PKTT, or from whence those dockets came?
Sorry, commissioners, this docket, especially the one which I'm alluding them, Tata one, they were inherited from my office. But the statement which was annexed under the diary C is their handwriting, is the member of the PKTT. Where Colonel Odendal stopped in the diary, where he wrote whatever investigation he conducted, it shows you have to sign with a date and time. But the one which I'm mentioning is the PKTT members. Thanks, commissioners.
And General, you mentioned that you then made an inquiry to General Khumalo through the information note annexed as MCM3. Do you know if that information note was ever sent to General Khumalo and his response?
Commissioners, I wrote the information note to the attention of General Sibia, and then I just ended up with General Sibia. I don't know whether it was taken further with General Khumalo, but I brought it under his attention because General Khumalo report directly to General Sibia.
So, General, just to follow up on Commissioner Baloy's question, did you get responses from the PKTT on all of these queries that are mentioned in your report? So in instances where there's a statement missing, was there ever an inquiry to the PKTT to say, I've got docket, let's say docket 95. It is noted that there should be a statement in the docket. When we audit the docket, we see that the statement is missing. Was there ever an inquiry made to the PKTT to say, where is the statement that should go with this docket?
Commissioners, I never communicated with the PKTT myself. I was doing it through protocol, through General CB, so that he can communicate with General Khumalo. But that is why I put this information note down, so that he can take the matter up with General Khumalo.
But as far as you know, that was never taken up.
I did myself. I didn't get a response from General Khumalo or where at the statement. I never received the response from him because I took it upon General Sibia, who was supposed to give me feedback. But so far, I've never received any response from General Khumalo or General Sibia about this missing statement.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Then, General, you deal with what you highlighted as shortcomings identified from the inspection process. We are at paragraph 29. Can you give a summary of those findings or shortcomings that you identified?
Commissioners, can I go through and read them? I further alluded that I was not directly involved in the audit exercise, but I did spot check a few dockets and receive comprehensive feedback from the team who conducted the audit. The following are a few of the shortcomings that were identified. 23 suspects were identified by witnesses, but these suspects were not arrested. One case was withdrawn by a witness because the suspect was on bail and the witness were fearful for their lives. 4 cases were found newly prosecuted because the public prosecutor instructions were not complied with. 1 case, the suspects were identified in the identity parade, but they were not charged. meaning they were identified immediately. When the suspects are identified in the parade, what follows, you must charge them, take them to court. But in this instance, they were only identified in the ID parade. One case, the suspect was arrested with no public prosecutor instructions in the docket. It shows that the suspect is arrested, taken to court, but it doesn't show all the court processes because it must appear either at whatever lower court or at the regional court, and the prosecutor actually must write something on the docket instructions.
I'm not sure I understand this point, General. Are you saying that PKTT members could not effect arrests without instructions from a prosecutor, even if the requirements for an arrest, set by the Criminal Procedure Act were satisfied?
Which paragraph is that one, Commissioner?
I'm referring to your 29.5. One case, the suspect was arrested with no public prosecutor instructions in the docket, which I understand to say, if there has not been an instruction by a prosecutor, go arrest that suspect, there can be no arrest. That's how I understand your 29.5. Now, my question is, are you saying that PKTT members could not effect arrests without instructions from a prosecutor, even if the requirements for an arrest set by the Criminal Procedure Act were satisfied?
Commissioners, in this particular docket, a suspect was arrested. So when the suspect is arrested and charged, they must go through the processes at court. So in this one, it doesn't show that actually the person was arrested, but he was never, it seems he never went through the court processes. If the suspect was arrested and released, there was supposed to be a release form inside the docket. So this one, the suspect was arrested, taken to court. So where did he appear? Which court?
Also, it is not the arrest that you are querying. What you are querying is the lack of any entries made by the prosecutor on the docket. Is that what your query is?
No, actually, Commissioner, maybe the manner in which it was faced here, I was just showing that the suspect is in the docket, he was arrested. But it seems he ended up without appearing before court because there's no prosecutor's instructions. If a person appears before court, it's a norm. The prosecutor will write something on the front page of the docket, maybe remanded for bail for 7 days and so forth. Even inside, they write something. They will say maybe obtain ballistic report, obtain whatever medical report. But this one is just a docket. So it seems it never. That is why I'm emphasizing the issue of the public prosecutor, not the arrest.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I guess it's a problem with the phrasing.
Okay.
I did not understand what you
That's
meant.
all right,
Thank you, thank you.
General, these findings or the shortcomings that you identified are pretty serious. Did you then communicate these findings to General Khumalo to inquire about some of these challenges?
Commissioners, everything in this inspection report was never communicated to General Khumalo. It was communicated to General Sibia. That is why I say the reporting a template or the protocol. You speak with General Sibia. By that time, General Sibia was supposed to call General Khumalo just to bring this to his attention. Myself and the team were just doing the inspection. Now we are giving the outcome of the inspection to General Sibia to take it further with General Khumalo.
And then, General, at paragraph 30, can you confirm those are the 3 cases wherein there were missing statements that you referred to earlier?
Yes, Commissioners, Umlazi case 479 of 4/2016, 10 statement missing. I just mentioned here the victim was an ANC member. And then the Greytown case 2 of 11/2018, which is murder, 32 statements. Actually, here, I think, Commissioner, it was a typo from ourselves. Let me apologize. It's not 10 statement, it's 12. 32 statement is the one of Mthatha, the one of the murder. So for Greytown, it must read as 12 statement, not 32.
Thank you, General.
Can you please explain the Mthatha case? My recollection, which may not necessarily be accurate, is that in the Eastern Cape, the cases investigated by the PKTT were Fort Hare cases. I seem to recall that there was also mention of an East London case, but probably it was connected with the Fort Hare cases. I'm not sure. I don't remember mention being made of a Mthatha case.
Commissioners, at the initial stages, we spoke about 118 dockets. Actually, we were supposed to say 121. Let me apologize for not taking you through. So PKTT, through the testimony of General Kumalo and the National Commission, they did mention the cases from Eastern Cape. So when the docket were taken back, after 3 weeks.
My issue is not with the 118, 121, because my understanding was still that to make up the total of 121,
Yes.
3 cases were added from the Fort Hare cases. So what I'm saying is, I don't remember a Mthatha case ever being mentioned. I don't quite see why the Mthatha case would have been part of the Fort Hare cases. So the Mthatha case sounds like it's something new altogether. Do you get me now? So I was just trying to understand where and how the Mthatha case features.
Commissioners, 121 dockets actually is this docket. Is 2 dockets from Tata and 1 from Alice, which was part of Fort Hare. But when the docket were brought, later, the 3 docket, it was Alice and 2 Mthatha. So the 2 Mthatha is this one.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Chair, if I may be of assistance, in General Masamola's testimony, he indicated that there was a trip to Fort Hare when there was a directive for them to include it as part of the PKTT's mandate, said there was uproar about a particular murder, which was the Namhla case, and he then requested head office to give that case over to the PKTT. So it wasn't related to Fort Hare, but was added because of a public outcry at the time they were there to address the Fort Hare issues.
Thank you, thank you.
General, you then deal with the stalling of investigations that you noted at paragraph 31. Can you explain what you mean by stalled investigations?
Commissioners, by stalling investigations, I just want to illustrate that the 121 dockets, they were stalled for some period. The oldest docket is from 2016, where suspects were identified through Section 205 Sapuna, but the suspects were not arrested. And then in the big inspection report or inspection matrix or schedule, the last entry on this docket, I think it was investigation was done on 2023. In this report, commissioners, I was just highlighting to General Sibia the outcome from. I didn't take all the 121 docket to put them here. I was just highlighting, like 2016, we are now at 2025. But the last entry in the docket, it was 2023. And then the next one was this one. This 2016 is Harding case, if I'm not mistaken, from the inspection report. And the other one was no evidence of investigations conducted. Is some docket from 2016 until 2024. Senior public prosecutor and director of public prosecution instructions were ignored, not complied with. Forensic ballistic reports are outstanding for a lengthy period of time. Section 205 subpoena reports are not analyzed. They are there in the docket. When you receive a Section 205, you have to analyze so that you can make the linkages of the suspect together with the crime committed. So it doesn't serve a purpose. You receive a Section 205 from the service provider, you put it in the docket. So you have to go through and analyze it so that you can come up with the linkages. Cases are not enrolled because of insufficient evidence. So in these instances, you'll find that suspects are arrested prematurely. You take suspect to court, but there's no evidence to link. That is why they are not enrolled.
General, what you've done from paragraph 29 and the same in paragraph 30, you are very specific about the number of dockets that are affected by what you've identified as shortcomings. And in paragraph 31, you've so far identified 31.1, and I think you say it's a Harding case. So it's clear there that you're talking about one case, one docket, let me say. The balance of that, 31.2 up to 31.6, you don't say, and maybe you should be specific if you can, because right now the impression is it's a general picture. You were dealing with 121 dockets, and one doesn't have a sense of where you say investigations were not conducted from 2016 until 2024. How many dockets are we talking about? Is this a widespread problem? Is it an exceptional problem that you picked up? And so on up to 0.6.
Commissioners, in this one, I was just giving a synopsis. Actually, from 121 docket, it is a widespread where most of the investigations were not conducted. I was just highlighting the few. So some of these, there are commonalities. If I take the 31.3 senior public prosecutor and director of public prosecution, instructions were ignored. Maybe from 121, you will find 10 or 15. So here I was just highlighting the shortcomings of what is happening in the 121. But the whole document, this one, the matrix, it is indicating, there's a column which shows Harding case and then comments by the inspection team from my office. And then actually, it doesn't mean the officers in the PKTT never gave instructions. They did also give instructions. Some of the shortcomings which we have identified or the team identified comes from the very same officers who gave instructions. For example, analyze section 205, analyze section 205. Nothing was done also there. So other inspections or outcome come from this new inspection team. They saw other things which the same officers never came across, but this day it contained in the docket. So I was just showing to a large extent what is happening in the docket by then. Because of commissioners, when you do inspection, by then you'll get, I will go to Western Cape, more or less I will get the same. Not when we do this inspection, we were criticizing or trying to point a finger to the PKTT. When we are inspecting, you will come up with similar findings in some other dockets. I just want to bring this to the attention of the commissioners.
Commissioner Baloyi, we can, with the general, prepare a supplementary to deal with exactly which cases. We do have the complete schedule. Is that correct, General?
It's correct, Commissioner. We do have the matrix here.
Then, General, at paragraph 32, you deal with the Namhla case and a directive to immediately start investigating. Can you explain what happened there?
Commissioners, the Namhla case was investigated prior from my office by Lieutenant Colonel Odendal. So during October 2023, the docket was taken to the very same Namhla docket. There were two dockets attempted, and then the murder one. They were taken to the PKTT. Then when the docket came back, General Khumalo informed the sister of the deceased that the docket are back to our office. But before that, General Khumalo explained, I'm using General Khumalo as a divisional commissioner. And then who said that is a project manager. I'm going to use, because I engaged with the sister of the deceased. She also told me the very same story. That when the docket before they were taken to our office, General Khumalo explained to the sister that they identified the motive and they were supposed to go through with the takedown of the target. And then the target applied for an interdict against the investigation. So there was an interim, there was an interdict, let me say there was an interdict against the investigation, but it was dismissed by the Mthatha High Court, I think this year, January or February. And then later, when they were still busy again now to make the takedown, Commissioner, now we are speaking things of last year. I think it was somewhere October. The docket was taken 2023. They were busy with whatever investigation. Then last year, when they were supposed to conduct the takedown, they identified most the motive and the target. There was an interdict. It was dismissed this year. General Khumalo told their sister that when they were supposed to do now is another takedown this year, the docket was recalled by General CB. They couldn't conduct a takedown this year, even last year, because of the interdict. So the sister called General CB complaining as if we are taking them as a family for a ride. Then General CB gave me the number of the sister. I took this docket from when they were still busy with the inspections. I took this docket, gave it to Captain van der Berg, because he was familiar with this docket. He used to work it with Colonel Odenda. And then I took it from him, but he was attending a lot of High Court matters. Then by that time, I had two members whom I deployed in Quebec. They were investigating the insurance matters, which is very prevalent in Eastern Cape, especially in Quebec. Then I took this docket so that whilst they are in Eastern Cape, they must conduct the investigation in this docket. Then the sister, through that explanation, she was happy. Then she communicated with Colonel Kenen and Mapeto. They were now the new investigating officer of this matter. So whilst they were also investigating, that's when now the docket now taken back to KZN. I was just explaining here what transpired of the Mthatha case, then Namklawan. That's the whole thing in paragraph.
Does that, General, not illustrate the problem created with the taking of dockets? Because now they are supposed to execute the takedown, but they don't have the docket with them. So that takedown never happens because they don't have the docket.
It never happened. Because the PKKT, they are the one who identified the target. So I was asking myself, when the interdict is dismissed, but there were two months lapse for the docket to be recalled by General CB, why the takedown didn't take place? Because they've identified most the target last day.
You're talking about now the interdict is dismissed in January. And
Yes.
your question is, in February and March, why did they not execute the takedown?
Yes, because they told the sister, that's what the sister is telling me. She understood the interdict after the attempt to make the takedown. Now she's asking, the interdict is dismissed by January, Feb. Why now they didn't effect the arrest or make the takedown before you from National, you requested the docket. Now the docket with you are going to start afresh now. So now the docket with these two kennels is taken back again KZN. I don't know whether it's still in KZN or where is the docket now.
I'm with you.
General, just to clarify, the dismissal was in February.
It was Feb. Okay. Thanks for that.
And this is February when? 2025,
2025, commissioners.
after the decision to disband the PKTT was made.
Yes, after that directive of the minister.
And then, General, at paragraph 33, you speak about General Mkwanazi's media briefing and some of the statements he made there about the dockets. Do you want to elaborate on this?
Commissioners, if I can read my statement, this paragraph 33. During General Mkwanazi's media briefing on 6 July 2025, he indicated that 5 dockets had warrant of arrest that had been issued and that the dockets are gathering dust at the head office of General Sibia without being given the necessary attention. And I said it's not true.
Why do you say it's not true? Because this related to whether there were any investigations taking place. Is that not so?
Yes, Commissioners.
So what this meant was the dockets are sitting at head office with no investigations going on. So it was in that sense that General Mkwanazi was saying that the dockets were gathering dust. So why do you disagree with that? Because no investigations were taking place.
Commissioner, before the investigation was supposed to take place, we have done the inspections. I think it's part and parcel, even though it's not physical investigations of the docket. But by mere investigation, requesting the funding, it shows that we needed to go and do
But General, you've just agreed that what General Mkwanazi was talking about was the fact that no investigations were taking place. So inspections of dockets and so on do not go to the question of actual investigations. So in that sense, the dockets were gathering dust. Why do you not agree with that?
That's the explanation which I'm giving, Commissioner. The docket were not gathering dust because this docket were only 3 months here with us, approximately, maybe 3 months. And then in the month of, they came March, and then April, there were the itineraries completed. When General Mkwanazi refused the docket, the National Commissioner said that General CBM must use his own discretion. So also the inspections which we conducted, it shows we are doing something in the docket.
General, you should not take this personally. It's not you being criticized at all, and let alone personally.
Okay.
What General Mkwanazi was talking about was that no investigations were taking place. Is that not so? That's what he meant in his media statement. Is that media briefing, rather? Is that not so?
Commissioner will take that.
So
that the investigations were never conducted.
In that sense, the dockets were gathering dust. That is what General Mkwanazi meant. Do you accept that? You see, General Mkwanazi's statement would still have been true even if someone, maybe a general worker, would pick up the dockets and dust them off every day so that there isn't literally dust on them. But they would be gathering dust in the sense that they were not investigated. That is all that General Mkwanazi meant. Do you accept that?
I will accept that, Commissioner,
Thank you.
if you say
Thank you.
Tim.
Thank you.
And then, General, your reference is made at paragraph 34 to the criticism that there were 5 warrants of arrest issued in the docket, but you there talk about what your audit found. Can you explain what you mean there?
When the team conducted the audit, commissioners, They found 2 warrants of arrest agreed to by the prosecutor and magistrate on 2nd October 2024. It was in Dwendwe case 127 of 10/2023. These warrants of arrest were never executed. They were there in Dwendwe Dockets, but they were never executed. And the commander wrote that the suspect must be circulated. The procedure, as I know, it is when the investigating officer received a signed warrant of arrest. Actually, it's not supposed to be in there. You don't put it there in the docket. You receive a warrant, you have to go and execute. He must proceed to execute the warrant by first tracking and tracing the suspect or suspect. If there are no leads regarding the suspect whereabout, the investigating officer would then complete an SAP 55 for purposes of circulation and send this to the Criminal Record Center for further circulation in the database of wanted circulated persons.
Can you please explain the concept of circulating a suspect? What does that mean?
Commissioners, in this Ndwendwe, there's a warrant of arrest in the docket. So the commander, instead of urging the investigating officer to trace the suspect, then when we went through the diary, it never indicates where the suspect were traced. The main purpose of signing a warrant of arrest is to execute. Execute meaning you must go and trace the suspect. So this one, it came, is attached under the case, and the commander just say circulate. How can you circulate a suspect who was never traced?
It's exactly that circulating that I'm interested in. What does it mean to circulate a suspect?
Okay.
How do you do that?
Okay, Commissioner, when we circulate a suspect, we complete this SAPS 55 for a purpose that there will be a hit if the suspect is arrested somewhere. Then in the system, because now it's captured in the system, it will be a hit. Then the investigating officer in that particular, he will inform this one that your suspect is arrested here. Come in. That's the main purpose of circulating.
Thank you.
General, and then you deal with one other docket at paragraph 35, where there was an unsigned warrant.
Commissioners, in this one is still warrant of arrest. Furthermore, there was one docket where the warrant of arrest was completed by the investigating officer, but not signed by the prosecutor or a magistrate, meaning the warrant was never issued. So it's a warrant of arrest J50 completed, but not signed by the prosecutor or magistrate. So it's just a J50 there in the docket. I'm just responding to what General Mokwanas was alluding that there were 5 warrants of arrest which were imminent. We delayed because docket were gathering dust. That is why this warrant of arrest were never executed. So we found these types of warrant, the 2 which were signed, the other one where it was not signed. Those are the only warrant which we found in the dockets.
And General, earlier you explained that one of the purpose of doing the inspection was to identify low-hanging fruit so that if there's anything that needs to be done urgently, that can be attended to. Is there a reason why these ones where there were either a need for circulation or perhaps getting the warrant signed, why those weren't given priority while the administrative processes for getting funding were going on?
Actually, commissioners, we planned it in that way from the onset. When they were doing inspection, then they're bringing me some heads up. I even suggested, how about maybe before we look into the funding, we look into our own monies, the one which I'm having, then we go and execute on especially these 2 warrant of arrest. So that at least because you can see they are there, and they were issued last year, October, the 2nd of October 2024, if I'm not mistaken. They were issued last year, now is this year. They've never been executed. We thought it in that line that these low-hanging fruits, if you got money, we are going to start first, like the one which I mentioned, where I said 23 suspect were witness identified suspect. Those were the first dockets which we wanted to start with, actually.
So, General, the question still remains, why wasn't this done if that could have been done while you were waiting for the big money issue to be settled?
Commissioners, when we look into our coffers, especially my budget, we didn't have enough money to embark and conduct this investigation. We wanted to go there, but because of money, because finance office, they are the one which will guide you. Immediately when you write there that this docket come, you have to outlay what is happening. This docket come from the PKTT. They all know that there's money being allocated to PKTT. Then we have to explain. That is why now we took this route of requesting for an extra budget.
So, General, these dockets, at least the two that you've given dates for, the October one, October 2024, we know there's a period of about 2 months before the PKTT is disbanded. You are saying in that period, in that window period before they were disbanded, these warrants should have been executed in that period.
By the PKTT.
Yes, I understand that. You're saying in that 2 months period.
Yes, before, yes.
Then the PKTT is disbanded on the 31st, at least that's the directive. So for all intents and purposes, as far as the minister is concerned, it seems that from the 31st of December or from the 1st of January, there's no PKTT to speak of. I guess that's why General Sibia instructs that the files must come back, the dockets must come to Johannesburg, to Pretoria rather. Now, what that means, and this speaks to an earlier point by Commissioner Khumalo, that because of this decision, we know now that from January up to whenever these dockets were returned to KZN, these two warrants were never executed. On your explanation, because you were waiting for a budget.
Yes, Commissioners.
Thank you.
General, just to complete the point, it was also not possible for you to speak to your provincial counterpart. I think is it Major General Gopal?
Yes, Major General Gopal.
In the same component, especially for the urgent matters to be attended to.
Commissioners, really, we never communicated with them. This is the outcome of the inspection, and then we never communicated. Up until we finished by 30th May, we have never communicated and brought to their attention that we found 2 warrants of arrest in the docket. How about maybe you expect that we never communicated with them?
General, we're going to move to the next topic, being the allegations of defeating the ends of justice. And there you speak about a visit. You first talk about the funding request that was sent. Do you want to explain what happened with that funding request? That was sent to the National Commissioner to request funding for these investigations.
Commissioners.
Maybe, General, before you answer that, just keep the question in mind, but what I'm going to ask you is related in a way. The information note that we looked at, MCM2, that we looked at earlier, under recommendations, you've got 2 recommendations, and the one is the funding issue recommendation. And then the first one, though, is that you recommend that the dockets be returned to KZN for investigation. And then that's the first recommendation. And then the next recommendation you make is for funding, that a dedicated budget be given to the national team. Why, in your thinking, was that the first preference, your first preference, that the dockets be returned to KZN? Well, why was it your first preference?
Commissioners, in this one, I was recommending that if maybe we are not going to get the budget, let the docket go back to their where they belong, because the PKTT already got funding, or they are budgeted, inclusive of this 121 docket which are under investigation. And then the next recommendation is the one of the funding from the National Commissioner.
How did you think about it? I mean, at this point, this is a memo in June, or an information note in June. So we know that the PKTT rather is disbanded by this point, at least according to the Minister and General Sibia. It is disbanded, and yet you are saying the dockets must go back to KZN. Can you just explain how you thought it would play out? And I do understand you're saying because the PKTT were already familiar with the dockets, but it is now disbanded.
Commissioners, when I wrote this, the PKTT is not disbanded. According to me, it was never disbanded. Okay. It was partially, because it was the first phase of investigation where the dockets were brought. But they are still operating, and they were still operating whilst I was in there, when there was no formal directive for us to say that now the PKTT is no more. So I was just making these recommendations that if maybe the National Commissioner then can't apportion some budget for us, then this docket, they must go back to the PKTT, because they were still operating.
Because practically they were still operating.
Yeah, practically they were still operating.
Thank you.
General, so at this stage, the funding request had not been considered by General Sibia, and it hadn't been approved by the National Commissioner. That's what you say at the top of the page on page 14. And you then further say that you could not investigate until you receive the additional funding.
Commissioners, the first information note, the one which we're discussing now, it was revised because it's myself who signed it. Then later it was sent back for ratification. But the signed one, myself, I was not in the office, I was in another meeting. It was signed by Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal on my behalf. So this one is the first one where myself, I've signed it, but it was never signed by the Divisional Commissioner, because it was sent back from the office of the Divisional Commissioner for some ratification. We just put it here to show that actually we started this request for funding on the 23rd of June.
And then, General, you earlier in your testimony, if you look at the information note MCM 3 at page 17, which would have been the initial one, and the corrected one is at page 19, MCM 4. You recall I asked you about paragraph 2.1 in a different document. That would have been the summary of the audit findings that you provided, about the background section where you say that Lieutenant General Sibia was the acting commissioner. This is found again at this information note, which you prepared in June 23, and then again in the revised one, which was signed by Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal on the 1st of July.
Yes, Commissioner.
And is it that at this point, your team was operating under the impression that General Sibia was the acting national commissioner at the time?
Commissioners, I explained earlier that in all the correspondence, we wrote General Sibia as acting. He he also brought to our attention, to my attention, that actually it was not himself that he was acting. Actually, it was General Motsepe. But in most of the information note and the reports, we wrote General Sibia, but not to portray or to bring to the commission that General Sibia is the one who was acting. Actually, it was General Motsepe. But most of the reports, even the National Commissioner signed one of the requests for funding, where we also mentioned that it was General Sibia.
Thank you, General. And then you deal with a request, a visit and a request to take photographs of the dockets, and you were told about a case at paragraph 38. Can you summarize the events? You've set them out in a lot of detail in the statement. So if you can summarize what happened there with Brigadier Kunene.
Commissioners, can I proceed with paragraph 38, reading it? Or just to summarize?
Just to summarize.
Commissioners, on the 22nd of July, I think it was 2 days. It was 2 days after the proclamation, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go through this paragraph, then I will summarize it, Commissioners, with your permission. On the 15th of July, I received a call from General Mangali. He is the component head of Criminal Record and Crime Scene Management, National Office. Then he said that he received a call from General Mkwanasi that he must avail a photographer for standby, and then he must take photos of the dockets, and then we must also furnish statement to Brigadier Kunene as well. Actually, let me speak. General Mangwale mentioned only about the taking of the photos. Then the following day, I communicated with Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal because the docket, they are lying in Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal's floor, second floor in the strong room. Then Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal also confirmed that he communicated with Brigadier Kunene. So Brigadier Kunene left KZN on Monday, and then we saw him the following day on the 16th. I think it was around 11 o'clock. It was myself. Before Brigadier Kunene came, I was with Brigadier Kwazulu-Natal and Colonel Mguli, but Colonel Mguli got some commitment work, related commitment. Brigadier Kunene came, and then he explained the purpose of his visit. He said that General Mkwanasi instructed him to come and take some photos, and then the strong room must be considered as a crime scene. We must condone of that strong room as a crime scene. Then I asked Brigadier Kunene, crime scene, what crime is it committed when you condone? Because we have been going through that. If it's a crime scene, we have already tampered with it. I don't understand the logic of condoning of the strong room as a crime scene. Then he said this is the instruction which he was given. Then from there, through our engagement, then I said, what is the interest of taking photos? Then he said, no, he was just given the tasking by General Mkwanasi. And then from there, I said, let me call General Sibia, because General Sibia by then was still in office. I called General Sibia. General Sibia said that, let me find out from the commission. I don't know whom did he call. He said, let me find out from the commission whether photos of those dockets can be taken or whether you can also give statement. After about 10 minutes, General Sibia called back. The phone was on the speaker. We were the three of us. Then General Sibia explained that the instruction is, or the advice is, photos can be taken of those dockets, provided the National Commissioner authorize. And then we must make an OB entry to that effect. From there, then I told Brigadier Kunen,
And General, when you say that General Sibia inquired from the commission, you mean the Majanga Commission?
he is from Majanga Commission.
Okay, thank you. And then thereafter, you...
Do we know who was contacted within the commission?
General...
Were you told, General?
Commissioners, I don't know who was called, but General Sibia said that he received an instruction or an advice. If dockets need to be taken photos and for us to give statement, the National Commissioner must authorize that instruction. Then Brigadier Kunena was not happy with the explanation of General Sibia. And then from there, he said, hey, it seems now it's going to be a fight between himself and General Mukwanas. Then I said, you take instruction from General Mukwanas. I'm also taking instruction from the Deputy National Commissioner, General Sibia. So let's wait. Maybe the National Commissioner will call and maybe he will authorize, because by then I learned later that General Mukwanas was with the National Commissioner in case then there was a protest march there. Then Brigadier Kunyana left. I went to my office at around 4:05. I was with Colonel Machabela, whom I met from the lift. He was greeting me. Then we went to my office. The National Commissioner called. Then he said that there's a certain investigating officer who's experiencing some resistance in the building. Then I said, who is that investigating officer? Then the National Commissioner said, no, General, we just need some photos. Then I said, General, who is the investigating officer? So when he mentioned the photos, I recall now is Brigadier Kunen. I just reminded General, said, General, now the National Commission. I think you are mentioning Brigadier Kunen. He is the one I had an engagement earlier with pertaining to photos. But now they say you must give. I called General Sibia, and then he said he inquired from Majanga Commission that permission must be granted. You must authorize. Then the National Commissioner said, it's fine, General, I will authorize that one. But it never came to authorize that photos can be taken. So Brigadier Kunene, photos were never taken. I even gave feedback to General Mangali.
And General, are you aware that at this point, General Mkhwanazi had opened a defeating the ends of justice case for the manner in which the dockets were taken?
I was not aware. I was not aware, Commissioners, that there was a docket opened by General Mkhwanazi.
Thank you, General. And then you then speak about the investigation that was conducted by Lieutenant General Patekile. Can you also summarize then what happened there, your interactions there with the General?
Commissioner, I was called by General Patekile, the Provincial Commissioner of Western Cape. It was on the President made the proclamation on the 13th.
It was on the 21st of July when you got the call.
21st. No, I was just adding 7 days to that proclamation of the President to get the exact date. It was on the 21st of July.
Yes.
I was called by General Patekile in the evening on Sunday, and then he said that he want to see me on Monday at the college. Then I said, pertaining to what? He said, pertaining to the 121 dockets. He's been appointed by the National Commissioner to conduct the investigation. Then he wanted to know actually what is happening with those 121, how did they come? Then I gave him the whole story, the way I put it in my statement here. And then he said, okay, we'll discuss at length tomorrow. Then I said I will come. Then he told me that he's coming with a team of 5. Then I also told him I will come with my team, meaning Brigadier Khoboitata, Colonel Mguli, and Colonel Mashili. We went to the college. We waited for them. Then he came around 1 o'clock. He was with the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, his Deputy Crime Detection, General Matashalala, together with Brigadier Truta.
I think you pronounced it correctly, but the writing there is wrong. The X should be a Q. General Matashalala, not Matashalala.
Or not X.
The X should be a Q.
Commissioner will rectify.
But you pronounced it correctly.
Thanks, Commissioner. Then they came with Brigadier Truta, the Provincial Head Legal Service. And then General particularly explained the purpose to all of us, the 4 of us. And from there, he wanted to know actually what's happening with this 121 dockets. Then I advised him to start first with Brigadier Khoboitata because he's the one who collected the docket with Colonel Mguli. Then he explained, then later it was myself. I explained exactly what transpired and the way I put it in my statement that docket were brought to General Kumalo, General Sintumula arranged the collection, came to our office, conducted inspections, the reports. I even gave him this matrix, this thick inspection. We made copies for himself, General Matashalala, together with Brigadier Truta. And then later, I wanted to know when he said he was investigating. Then I said, General, you say you are investigating. What are you investigating, actually? Then he said, Motsepe, you know what, after this, whatever you told me, you must depose statement to me. Then we want to see whether there was no defeating the ends of justice. Then I even asked him, who's defeating here? Myself, Brigadier Khoboitata, General Sintumulo, General Kumalo. Then he said, no, I won't mention who's defeating. I'm going to make a report to the National Commissioner. It's up to him with my recommendation. Then if he agrees, then the recommendation, then there will be a defeating. So during that time, I don't know, actually the defeating was against Sue. I was never consulted later as a suspect or somebody who's involved in the defeating of dockets, of this 121 dockets. Then we finished statements on the 24th. Then I gave General particularly my statement.
And then, General, you note that on the day you deposed to the statement, you also received notification from the National Commissioner that the funding approval was denied.
Commissioners, that's true. The National Commissioner didn't approve on the 22nd. Then the file was brought to my attention on the 24th that the National Commissioner didn't approve.
What reason did the National Commissioner give for not approving the funding request?
The National Commissioner, if I can just say without reading it, he mentioned that the PKKT is already budgeted. And then what are the dockets doing here at the national office? And then the docket must go to the station of origin as agreed. Then me, I don't know where does this agreed comes from. Maybe they've discussed it before that through the disbandment. Actually, the docket must go to the station of origin as they agreed in their executive management meetings. But he wrote it in that way that docket must go back to the station of origin as agreed.
General, page 21 of MCM4, just to be fair to you.
MCM4.
MCM4, page 21. Your recollection was spot on, but just to be fair to you, you were referring to what is written there by the National Commission.
Yes, commissioners, I was referring. Must I read it? Okay, commissioners. The National Commissioner didn't approve. Then he cited the following reasons. We can't spend double on the same function. Political killing tax team is there already doing the functions. Why are dockets at HQ? As it was agreed that some dockets from the team be returned to station of origin.
And then, General, to complete then your team's possession of the dockets, you talk about what you hear from Major General Mohale on the 25th of August about the return of the dockets to KZN. Can you briefly address that?
Okay, thanks, Advocate. Commissioners, on the 25th of August, we were preparing ourselves to attend an Interpol conference in Cape Town. I was approached by Major General Mohale. He's one of the component head with myself at the division. He's responsible for crime investigations, the so-called general crime. Then he's presently the acting divisional commissioner because General Sintumula is acting Deputy National Commissioner for General CBA. Then he informed me that there was a virtual meeting between himself and General Mkwanasi. And then I must make available a brigadier pertaining to the taking back the dockets to KZN. Then I said, I don't have a brigadier. Kopotata was on leave because Brigadier Kopotata is the one who started the collection. Then actually he was supposed to be the one who attend when they are taken back to KZN. Then I propose I'll give him 2 colonels, the one who were also involved with the docket. Is Colonel Mguli and Colonel Mashile. Then he said that the meeting will be tomorrow. They confirmed the meeting will be tomorrow on the 26th. Then on the 6th, the meeting did take place. And then when myself I was departing to the airport, he came to my office. Then he said, General, yes, we did attend the meeting. It's confirmed. The docket must go back to KZN. Did you make copies of the dockets? Then I said, no, we didn't, but we were thinking of making copies, but we have never made copies, but it's not a problem. I will arrange before I leave that copies are made. I called Colonel Nguli and then inform also Colonel Mashile that they must ensure that these docket copies are taken and then to be handed over. The arrangement was they must be arranged. The arrangement was made that they must be handed to one of the PKKT commanders at the college. I understand it was Lieutenant Colonel Kumalo. So I left for Cape Town, and then whilst I was there, I keep in touch with them just to check whether how far are they with making the copies. They completed, and then the dockets were handed over, and then they were taken back to KZN. In charge the same as they were taken from crime intelligence by the Brigadier Kopotata and General Sintumule, and they were taken back to KZN on the 28th of August.
Now, can you just assist the Commission with this from 28 March 2025 until the 27th of August 2025? Are there entries in any of those dockets that the investigation was progressed further? In other words, there was progress from when the dockets were first taken to when they were returned to KZN.
Commissioners, in the diaries, the entries which was done was of the inspecting team. When they were inspecting, just alluding maybe like Section 205 to be obtained, witnesses, but there were no entries of investigation. as no investigation did take place.
So it was the audit, basically. The only entries were that an audit has
The one of the
taken place,
inspection, yes.
and these are the shortcomings that were
Yes.
picked up.
Yes.
But the murder cases themselves were not investigated.
Only those two of the one of Eastern Cape, the attempted and a murder was taken by Colonel Kenan and Mapet whilst they were in Eastern Cape. Is the only docket where they wrote their investigation, what they have done so far with that limited time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioners.
And General, do you know that in that docket, the Eastern Cape one, the investigators had only gotten an opportunity to introduce themselves to the family and to the previous investigating officers?
Commissioners, I'm aware. If I can elaborate further, they even went further to, I think it's 3 station, where the investigating officers who were investigating this docket, they were killed, 3 of them. So they went to those stations. I forgot the stations, but they are mentioned in the dockets because of the information where Colonel Odendaal was pursuing. We were supposed to get statement from those 3 investigators who were conversant with this murder of Namka, only to find that when they were busy with investigations, they were killed. So these 2 colonels, they went to those stations to collect the murders of those deceased investigating officers, to investigate together with this one of Namka, because they were killed because of, they do have first-hand information of who killed the deceased.
Were these the original investigators before the docket was handed over to PKKT?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioner, let me rectify. The original was Colonel Odendaal. He knew about these 3 investigators who were killed. So there are 3 murder cases in Eastern Cape, where now the new investigating officer, Advocate Power, was just saying to bring to the attention of the commissioners that in the docket of Namka, there's only an entry which introduced themselves to the sister of the deceased. Now I'm alluding further that even though maybe it's not written in the docket, they went as far as to those 3 stations to collect those 3 dockets, because those 3 dockets where investigating officers were killed were supposed to be investigated together with this main docket of Namka.
Maybe let me ask the question differently. The 3 investigators that were killed were not PKTT investigators?
No, they were not.
Thank you.
They were not.
General, and then now we are going to move to the last topic of your statement, and that's the leaked audit report to the Sunday World. So there you start with the call that you received from Brigadier Mate, alerting you to an article that would be published. Can you explain what happened there and your response to Brigadier Mate?
Commissioners, actually the call was made on the 16th, not the 17th. Brigadier Mate called me on the 16th. Brigadier Mate is the spokeswoman of our National Commissioner General, Masemola. She called me that a journalist by the name of Situmo from Sunday World, he needs some input pertaining to 121 dockets. Then I said to Brigadier Mate, I don't have any inputs because I don't report to the journalist Situmo. And then I don't see any need to input to him about this 121 dockets. And then he sensitized to me that it seems the following day on the 17th August, which is Sunday, it seems there's a leak report of my report to them and they're going to publish. That is why they wanted some inputs to me. Then I said that the report from myself, I didn't give the report to the any newspaper or media or any journalist. I don't know what's happening. Then Sunday, Brigadier Mate called me. Then he said he even sent the article via the WhatsApp to my phone, WhatsApp. I went through it. Then I asked her, how come, what's happening here? Then he said, hey, General, I don't know. Then she asked me, who did you give this report? I said, the only person whom I gave is General Sibia. I gave him not electronic card, it was a printout. Then immediately I phoned General Sibia. I said, General, I gave him the whole story. That General Brigadier Mati called me on Saturday. Then here's the newspaper clip now. Then he said, let me go and get the newspaper. So around 11, he called me. He said, yes, I see the leak, I see the newspaper. Then I said, General, how come that report appears in the Sunday World? Then he said, he also don't know. Then I said, you are the only person whom I gave. Did you share it with somebody else? Maybe that person is the one who leaked this in the newspaper. Then he was adamant that he never shared this report with anyone.
And then it was quiet about this leaked report for a while until you received a call from the National Commission on the 15th of September. That's at paragraph 53 of your statement. What was your interaction there with the National Commissioner?
Commissioners, on the 15th of September, I did receive a call from the National Commission inquiry about the report. I even said, General, you know now about this report? It was most 17 August. Didn't Brigadier Mate brought it to your attention? Because initially, when we were engaging with Mate about, I even asked her, didn't you bring this to the attention of the National Commissioner? She said, I did send the National Commissioner, but he never responded because maybe he was busy. That is why he never gave me the response to inquire further from you. And then the National Commissioner asked me about this report. Then I explained to him, I'm aware I was brought to this leak by Brigadier Mate on the 16th of August. It's already a month now. Then the National Commissioner said that, do I have a report with me? Then I said, yes, General, I will check. I think I still have that report. Then on the 16th, I was attending a management meeting which was chaired by General Sintumule when I received the call from the National Commissioner. He was waiting for that report. I explained to the National Commissioner that I've tasked my secretaries just to check in the system so that we can print. But they said that it seems when they were typing, they didn't save it. Then I said, okay, I will excuse myself from this meeting and go and look for that report in my office on the table. Then whilst we were engaging with the National Commissioner, he said that, am I aware that now I'm the star witness that General Sibia leaked the report? Then I said, General, I'm not the star witness of the leakage. I'm the witness that I gave General Sibia this report. He's the only person. I gave him in a print form. I didn't send it electronically. Then before I left, excusing myself, I told General Sintumule. Then she said that they were discussing this matter a previous week they were in Cape Town. Actually, she also advised the National Commissioner that they must conduct an investigation on how did this report leak into the Sunday World.
So you are saying you did not type the report yourself?
I couldn't get that, Commissioner.
You are saying you did not type the report yourself?
No, it was not typed.
Your PA typed it?
Yes, my secretary.
So actually then it was not just you and General Sibia who had access to the report. It was you, your PA, and General Sibia.
Yes, Commissioners. Maybe if I can explain my PA. when we were busy typing this report, the one which I put that I dispute what General Mukwanasi said, my PA sent it to the office of General Sibia, the secretary there, because we were busy with this report. Then I called my office, just sent it to General Sibia's office. Then that secretary that side put only infused that paragraph which said that I dispute what General Mukwanasi was saying. So now from there, I got the copy, I gave the copy to General Sibia. So when a national commissioner was requesting a copy, that's the copy which I was saving. And then from that meeting from General Sintumule, I went to the national commissioner, then I gave him that copy. So what commissioner is asking is true. The person who typed, it was electronic, but it was printed copy to General Sibia, and the other copy, I did have another copy.
Thank you, General.
So in fact, General, your PA and General Sibia's PA had access electronically to this report that ends up with the newspaper.
Yes, but I asked them about the leakage. They were also amazed. They said, General, they can investigate, they can take our gadget. Mine also, I'm saying, can be taken. It can show that I didn't send the report to the Sunday World.
Thank you, General.
So any one of the four of you could have
Yes, could have.
It's actually any one of the three, because your family say it's not you. So it's either the two PAs or General Sibia. If we accept you saying you did not.
The general
Yes,
has already
I didn't.
agreed. The general has already agreed to the
No,
possibility of any one of the four of you.
No, Commissioner, but just to affirm or confirm that I didn't leak.
Thank you,
That one is
General.
for sure.
Thank you, Commissioners. And then at paragraph 56, you confirmed that you did hand over the physical copy that you had to the National Commissioner.
Yes, I did give to the National Commissioner, and then the Commissioner wanted to know why is it not signed. Then I said it was just a draft, sort of executive summary I was discussing with General Sibia, so that they must give me further directive to that one.
And then to conclude, General, in paragraph 57, you clarify your position as regards to the 121 dockets. Do you want to read that into the record?
Commissioners, yes, I concluded by saying the docket were not gathering dust, and by saying that an audit was conducted and the dockets have been investigated once funding was approved. I had no involvement in the disbandment of the PKKT, nor did I have any involvement in the handing over process. Once the dockets were under me, I, of my own accord, tasked my team to conduct an audit, and if funding had been approved, the dockets would have been investigated.
Thank you, General. Unless there's anything else you'd like to say, that concludes your testimony.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Let us adjourn and resume at 2 p.m. Let's adjourn.